hey there. Hold on, hold on. Promote for everything to be on. Oh, hi there, hi there, hi there. Whoa, where am I? Alright, now, let's get everything up already. Alright, now, today we are going to be doing another one of the Class 12B students. This one is Desiree. Alright, now, next slide, please. Alright, real name is unknown at first, later revealed to be Sandra Weaver. She is a former human girl who at a young age was left to die and rot inside of a well because her real mom didn't want her, and she was adopted by an unseelie fairy, who, despite claiming to love her and raise her well, meant for her to basically be a means to an end, and had heard about the Big League Association Hero School and wanted her to, infiltrate and learn what she could and use her powers to get close to the powerful and elites of the world, or else. But Desiree always knew that her adoptive mother wasn't a very good person and hated her abilities since she was given, as well as the fact that, she couldn't remember ever being human or losing her purpose and name long ago and being forced to basically be an unseelie due to trickery. Yet a part of her remained and wasn't very interested in being a villain or doing any such thing, and actually hate her ability because, it was the true art of, horny dreams, due to the fact that it drew too many weird looks and judgmental stares from mortals around her. Which is why she changed into a more conservative and less revealing outfit which is why she would dress conservatively and in less revealing outfits to try and hide her appeal and suppress her powers a bit. When it came time to demonstrate her ability, she didn't want to do it, but the professor in charge basically forced her to do it, even saying to try and use it on him, which she did only because she was forced to do so, which angered the staff and drew many people's ire to her having a disgusting and weird power, which got her demoted to Class 12B, which she accepted, knowing her mother would probably dispose of her soon enough after that. And until the teacher there, Endamati. Alright, now, hold on, please. And her civilian teacher disguise helped her to accept herself and her powers and taught her to awaken them into illusionary and dream control, summoning, and manipulation, which her mother was disappointed in, even more so in learning the teacher was loosely associated with the ceiling. And alright, now, she demanded her daughter learn what she could from her anyway. And also she disliked, that Endamati was half human too. However, Desiree thought differently and decided to use her powers for good instead, especially upon seeing her success and power level actually getting stronger. Her rival at first, who thought her abilities were gross and spread all sorts of rumors about her, because of it, left her. She did have a rival who was basically bullying her, who thought her abilities were gross and spread all sorts of rumors about her because of it, Desiree was, isolated due to the opening exam incident, and then rival is a cheerleader with the powers of multiplication. Desiree, thanks to talking it over with Endamati, upon Endamati learning of her mother and her intentions, decided to help Desiree get back her true name and purpose by stealing it back from her quote-unquote mother, and finally freeing Desiree from her and her power for good, and allowing her to resolve a path of her, choose a path of her own, basically. Her mother is Sexy Trude, who is a witch in a candy house, who is a current neo-unseelie member and a former member of Legion, linking her to Lilith, the Queen of all Evil, and basically intended her daughter to join her and become a vessel of the great evil of lust and obsession, known as Schumanfreud. Yeah, that's one of the great evils. Hoping it would lead to, to seal the great evils being broken, this plan would, fall apart, and, because she was upset by it. Worked hard to get back at Endamati, though her daughter wasn't really the main reason why anymore, showing how much she really did care for her. Done for just a minute. Alright, now, at the height of Desiree's power, she learned the power of desire manipulation and sleep magic and how not. Alright, now. There's no in Dorito Farms, okay? No, Phone Swordsman, there's no in Dorito Farms, that's not a thing. Alright, and Desiree at the height of her power, she learned how to use desire manipulation and sleep magic, and not just use them for horny desires of about your own desires as well as others to create beautiful dreams of people, of people as well as of other people as well as yourself, and hold on. Please stop getting tongue tied. She learned how to create beautiful dreams out of other people's desires as well as her own with their not less traumatizing effects. Made a moonlight mistake. I'm not a Dorito. That's false information. Alright now. And she also learned how to use dream summoning and dream manipulation arts. And she would often subdue enemies with her charm-based powers while she does feel a little bit of shame of doing it still. She feels very powerful and in control. And feels a bit more used to using it to defeat villains by forcing them into sleep or surrendering out of the raw charm magic's effects. And she is able to control the intensity of it now. In fact, she even fought against and defeated the Boogeyman of Darkness and his forces in the Dream Warren, Warzark, and helped to, defeat Carapace, leader of the Neon Sealy. And she helped to, defeat Astardi Callista, during the Isekai Dream System arc, and later in the Valentine's Day arc, which, yeah, those two were in that. Which put her at odds with people who had similar powers to her own, but, she managed to overcome it and later was recognized by Cupid as an honorary guardian of love. Isn't that just wonderful? And I'm not a Dorito. Stop sorry. Of course, leave it to chat, to be Dorito posters in chat. No, there's no sucker brat. Thank you for your Doritos and Mountain Dew. Alright. Now, Desiree, I will say that, her backstory as well as some of her personality was inspired by, Plumeria and Fire Emblem Heroes. Okay. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. There's no one Dorito, okay? There's no one Dorito. There's no one Dorito, okay? That's a bunch of false information, okay? And Dorito is fake news. Alright, now let's go raid somebody real quick. Alright, let's go raid. Oops, raid Zombie Kai. Alright, yeah. Yeah, and basically the reason I came up with this character is basically because of Plumeria and Fire Emblem Heroes. Yeah. Anyway, how do you like that? Thank you for listening, and I hope you had plenty of fun. Remember to flag it back and shine like a man. Alright, now, for today's raid message, don't forget today's raid message is Moonbat Raid. Alright, and we are, alright now, Moonbat Raid, there we go, see you later, goodbye.